Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from across the globe. Thank you for joining our webinar, ABM in Action, Forex Your Sales Win Rate. I'm your host, Zirwa Abbas, PR Manager at xiQ. A few housekeeping items before we begin. We'd love to hear from you during today's presentation. If you have a question, please feel free to send it through the Q&A channel at the bottom of your player. We will be answering your questions at the end of the session. Today's webinar will be available on demand after the live session and is accessible through registering on the website. Lastly, we'd encourage you to share this webinar within your social networks. Our presenter today is Lois Mueller, Director of Enterprise Sales at xiQ. Lois is a versatile, results-driven professional with expertise in sales, marketing, and management of high-impact business initiatives. Multifaceted and dynamic, she is a leader who is well-versed in cross-functional utilization of people and technology, working closely with businesses and leaders to transform their sales and marketing strategies using next-generation software. Thank you so much, Lois. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Zirwa. That is quite the introduction to live up to, so I appreciate it. With that, I want to say not all sales teams are built of A players. As a matter of fact, roughly just 5% of sellers achieve their quota each quarter. So how can sales leaders improve the efficiency and productivity of their teams in such a manner that they can perform and sell at 4x their current rate? So let's share how one of our clients, DELL Technologies, is netting a 348% return on their investment using xiQ's AI-powered platform.
One of the metrics that we really focus on for our services sellers are you closing the deal? Are you winning the deal with the customer? And so we've seen through xiQ a 4-time more likelihood in closing deals if they've used xiQ for the upfront investigation and that relationship building process, as opposed to someone who is not using the tool.
And let's now show you how you could use xiQ to achieve similar results. The foundation, if you will, in which a successful sales cycle is built upon. And the first stone in our foundation is preparedness. And not just the first stone, but the keystone. And this is because 84% of sales are still lost because sellers are inadequately prepared. So let me just break down what being prepared means. And being prepared in B2B means not just knowing what you're selling, a knowledge of your product, but also who you're selling to. And this is at the individual, at the company, and industry level. And to enable the understanding and engagement of these 3 elements of preparedness, we have developed xiQ, which is an end-to-end sales and marketing platform for B2B teams. And at the core of xiQ is a combination of artificial intelligence and behavioral science. And we use these to extract elements of the decision-making process to help sellers and marketers alike better understand their buyer. And better understanding your buyer by gaining a deeper understanding of the individual, and again, as well as the company you're targeting. We also use AI and third-party content to engage with them in a more meaningful way. And finally, using the data to understand who your qualified leads are and how your sales team should prioritize accounts as well as individuals for their outreach. So let's go ahead and start breaking these elements down in real time. And to do so, we actually want to jump over to xiQ's Sales Intelligence Platform Live. And so on the screen, we're viewing my analysis. So if you had a meeting set with me, you'd simply type my name into xiQ, and it will provide insights into 7 different categories of how I conduct myself in relation to business. And not only that, but it tells you how you can cater your approach based on these insights. And so we see here that it says, I speak in a conversational manner. I make definitive statements, and I focus primarily on strategy. And so some overall tips, again, for your approach in this upcoming meeting or phone call is to keep conversations amicable and be energetic. Emphasize your message by using dynamic visual presentations and determine their emotional drivers and move forward from there. And as we scroll down, again, it's breaking it down into 7 different categories of how you can better get to know and understand me without having yet met me. So when it comes to motivation, I love forward-thinking, fast-paced environments that encourage me to think on my feet. Very true. I'm driven by bold projects and quick decisions. And then when it comes to building trust, it says prevent overviews, not analysis. Be sure to share new ideas and show the ability to take a risk. And again, remember and ask about their personal details. I love starting emails and conversations, as Zerwa just did in this webinar. How are you? What do you have planned this weekend? I really want to get to know my clients and prospects on a deeper level and understand who they are outside of work. And so that if you approach me in that manner, that's how you get to build my trust as well over time. And so again, communication, I often bring the energy to a group. So tell a few jokes, use a few visual aids when possible, stick to the big picture. I need to know how this impacts the high level. And then again, emailing and ultimately working together. I'm a daring dreamer. I creative think and I hit the ground running on new projects. So again, ways and insights of get to know me. But it's going to be a rarity that you have a room full of eyes and influencers like myself. So often when it comes to your buying group, you have to understand who the entire group is composed of. So if you have a meeting with me, but the ultimate decision maker at xiQ is my CEO, Usman, let's look at what xiQ says about him and how you have to cater your approach to him differently. And so again, we typed his name in the search bar and we see that he's a pilot. He's forthright, task-oriented, and is reluctant to follow strict formalized systems. Very true. I mean, he started his own company. So explore all feasible action items that can be implemented. When it comes to behavior, he tends to say something bluntly without details. He drives others to action. He's constantly pushing the team. Motivations, he's motivated by others who take charge, who set ambitious goals and challenge him. And then again, over time, as you build a rapport with Usman, it says end meetings early, display the ability to argue with civility, and speak with direct, bold language. I can tell you in a room, when someone approaches him in this manner, he has attention for them then. He's focused on them and he's listening intently. So again, we've just compared the differences between a buying group of how a motivator like myself makes decisions, how you can get in touch with me and understand my buying decision process, and then also Usman's. So again, xiQ really helps you better understand your buyer. And so as mentioned, seeing the difference between Usman and myself, we have to stop thinking that one communication style fits all. And another great example of this are the characters you're about to see built out on the screen. Captain Kirk. His personality type is exactly that, one of a captain. He, like Usman, prefers direct communication. He's comfortable taking control. So it's important to remain assertive and direct when working with dominant personality types. When it comes to Spock, it's important to give respect to the amount of expertise and knowledge he possesses. So use formal business-like language and tone when addressing someone who has a conscientious personality type such as him. Uhura, she thrives in social settings and often seeks to make an impressive impact on other people. And the Scotties of the world, they tend to be a little reserved and leery of individuals who used clipped language to start any conversation. So with a supportive personality, start conversations in a friendly, personal way, even in business settings. So again, you cannot appeal to all with one style. So understanding the personality type of your buyer is truly putting the person in personalization. And the next stone in our foundation that a successful sales maker is built upon is having an understanding of what's happening behind the doors at your prospect's company. And I like to call this situational awareness. So by conducting research on your prospect's company, you're creating the opportunity for yourself and your outreach by having an in-depth knowledge of relevant news, company alerts, and you can even begin to track momentum and purchasing cycles. And what's great is that xiQ is your one-stop shop for this research. So again, let's jump back to the platform and look at this in real time. So perhaps we have a meeting coming up with FireEye and an individual at the company. And so now I need to go and conduct research on what's happening behind the doors at FireEye. So using xiQ, I simply type the name of the company in the search bar, and I'm given a great summary, overall who they are, what they do, estimated revenue. And then xiQ also provides sales triggers. And this is incredible. So much like a Google search, I can find out news and information, but now it's specific to the company FireEye. And these news and alerts are all based on 21 different triggers. And so again, when I'm trying to time my approach, when I'm trying to create the situation for me as a seller to reach out, I need to conduct research, and xiQ lets me do that here in one place. So if I want to know exactly what's happening at FireEye in regards to finance, mergers and acquisitions, deals that they might have just struck, so now might not be the best time to reach out, or new products that they have coming on the market, I'm going to click save, and now xiQ is going to funnel all of the articles from every corner of the internet and pull that here for me. So very quickly and efficiently, I can get down to the bottom line and pinpoint the way in which I'm going to reach out to FireEye. And not only that, but if I need to get my entire team on the same page and alert them of what's happening behind the company, we make it very easy to share. So Microsoft Teams for account-based collaboration. We have LinkedIn if I want to start promoting not only for myself, but also on behalf of xiQ for FireEye. Because as soon as I'm on their radar, I can guarantee that they're going to start looking at my LinkedIn and do some research of their own on me. So if they see that I'm already promoting their company, I already have my finger on the pulse of the news that's happening at FireEye, it's going to start building that trust before the initial meeting is even set. And so again, you have sales triggers, you have real-time news, you're creating that opportunity. You can also look at the financials of a company. So where they're at in their spending year, we have access to SEC files and latest earnings. So is now a good time for the approach. Did they just end Q4? Are they in a spending pattern? Again, timing the approach. We can also look at what's happening socially. Sometimes a tweet is all that's needed to spark a conversation and connect. And then again, when it comes to the top decision makers, xiQ will outline the executives and decision tree at a company. So you again know the personality type of who ultimately has the final say. So when it comes to FireEye, if Kevin Mandia has that final say, we're going to go and click on his profile. And now again, we see his personality type based on the public information we found online. So he's a strategist. He's careful and values rational thinking and decisions based on facts and data. So we could view more disc insights and build this out, again, get those 7 different categories of how best to connect with Kevin, or we can see his work history. And also, since he does have a wealth of information on the internet about him, xiQ is pulling in news articles that he's in, it's pulling in his tweets, and also any videos. So a great way to read body language and again, really understand your buyer, not only at the individual level, but also on a company level. And so now that you have that understanding, how do you engage that prospect and gain their attention? And this is by curating thought leadership on behalf of you and your company. And so let's jump back into xiQ. And what we're looking at is an email sent weekly, which informs our audience, composed of sellers and marketers, on the most recent news in the B2B industry and how it could impact their business. So you'll see it has a personal message from me to my audience. And as we scroll down, it incorporates collateral from xiQ directly, or it could be from your company directly, in addition to reputable third-party sources. And this type of email or campaign does 2 things. The first is it allows you to bring the news to your client versus them having to go out and find it. So you've just saved them exponential amounts of time. And the second is brand association to that thought leadership. So you're providing the news to your prospects, which they come to rely upon, and now it always has your brand attached. So let's go ahead and look at how effortless it is for someone to create an email like this. And so what we've done using xiQ is just put a few keywords into our engine. So again, this is a weekly digest I send on behalf of myself and xiQ. So we're talking about B2B marketing, B2B sales, account-based marketing, sales, and personalization. And once I click save, xiQ will again search every corner of the internet and pull in the relevant articles based on those keywords. And so we'll see here the scope of what it pulled in. And then again, we can look at the concepts, the keywords, and the details. So does this article match the message that I'm trying to send to my audience? Do I think it'll resonate? You can also very quickly add in your own company collateral by shared folders, a content management system, or adding URLs directly. And then when you have your third-party content, you have your party content, and you're ready for design, again, xiQ is customizable. So we not only have the templates for you to choose from, we can import your own, and then we can change out the imaging, you can change out the articles and the titles, and really, again, match the look and feel of your brand. And then when it comes to publishing capabilities, xiQ wants to be as helpful and efficient as possible. And so we're integrated with Marketo. You can send this through Eloqua or HubSpot if that's the marketing automation tool you're already using, or you can send it through xiQ's Workbench directly or through Outlook. And so now that you have the understanding of the individuals and the companies you're targeting, you've created your thought leadership digest and you're ready to engage, we now want to look at the data. How well did my email land? How do I use this information for my future outreach and the approach? And so now what we want to do is go ahead and take a look at the analytics. And so here we see not only the overall engagement, so the sent rate, the open rate, and the click rate, but as we scroll down, xiQ will actually rank the data for you. And so now it's ranking the top accounts who engaged with my email in the last 30 days, the top contacts, and then not only that, but the top content. So very quickly, I have a 30,000-foot view of who's reading my email at the company, the individual level, and the articles. So if I now want to strategize with my team and have the approach based on a company level, I'm going to click into AGC Networks because they were the top engager of my email in the last month. So now it breaks it down even farther. It shows me who the top contacts at that company were specifically who's read my email. It shows the content that they read, so the articles that they found most engaging. And then this is incredible, the first-hand intent data. So at a company level at AGC, they're interested in product changes, customer satisfaction, prospective customers, and then it also breaks down the entities and the concepts. And so again, really great information that's helping me understand what my audience is engaging with. But when it comes down to selling, you don't sell to a company, you sell to a person, and people buy from people they trust. Can't say that enough. And so now if I want to engage with Neelam because she's the top engager of my emails at AGC Networks, I'm going to go ahead and click on her name. And now I'm shown her first-hand intent data specifically. So the campaigns she's subscribed to and opened, the content from those emails that she's read, and then again, that first-hand intent data. So we can see hers is slightly different from what we saw at the company level. Hers talked about the sales cycle and intent data, account-based strategy, and quality assurance. And again, it's also showing you the concepts as well. And so this is wonderful. I now know exactly what Neelam's reading. I know what keywords to use for my future approach. But now, how does Neelam prefer her communication? How do I build that trust with her? How do I start gaining that rapport? So when I click on View Profile, this really does help close the loop on your sales and marketing efforts and the foundation of successful sales maker, because now it's showing us specifically what Neelam's personality type is. And she's a leader. She prefers to take on leadership roles and communicates in a very forthright manner. So when it comes to motivations, she thrives on heading up large projects and establishing ambitious objectives. And she likes professional growth. She likes competition and winning, and she is up for a challenge. So when building trust, it says to challenge them on occasion. And again, as we saw with Usman, display the ability to argue with civility. But this is really important. Again, this could be my first outreach with Neelam personally after she's read my email. So when it comes to communication, she's passionate, she's forceful, and self-assured. And so assert myself with confidence into my email, get right to the bottom line, even though I'm a motivator and an influencer, and I like to ask people how their weekends are and who they are in general, it tells me that Neelam doesn't prefer that approach. So now I'm going to cut the fluff and I'm going to get right to the bottom line. Don't be afraid to disagree. Be direct when you disagree. And then in emailing, write 3 sentences or less, be straightforward and direct, and avoid being overly detailed. So again, it's incredibly important to review your efforts and track the hygiene of your campaigns. And not only the overall success, but also let's start paying attention to the details. I'm a firm believer that the devil is in the details. And so rank your accounts, prioritize your individuals, and successfully hand off this information to your sales team. Or if not yet ready for sales, use this information to reassess and repeat. Use this information as a compass and let it guide you. And with that being said, let's go ahead and review a client testimonial from a sales leader whose team used xiQ to identify and create a multi-million-dollar opportunity.
The DISC insights were really cool. I do know that it's very accurate, but it does allow us to set kind of before you go into a meeting, understand the mindset of your customers and the way that they think. Like my sales makers, they have on average 500 companies that they're usually calling in on. You can't know about 500 accounts unless you have the ability to say, hey, this is one of my accounts. Go scour the internet, do whatever you need to do to collect information on the account. The platform itself is incredible for us to really be relevant, not just initially, but ongoing with our customers. One of my direct sales reps got a notification that a customer basically had an acquisition and was notified via the xiQ engine. The customer that he reached out to, he took a look at some information provided by the xiQ platform, which is this AI, spoke to the customer and made a connection point really quick. And basically what that produced was a 1.8 million plus, probably about $3 million total opportunity for our sales maker. And so it was really putting my sales maker in the right place at the right time for this customer.
So Eric just again described that situational awareness, putting yourself in the right place at the right time and using xiQ sales triggers to facilitate that effort, equipping your team with the right tools. And so as a result of what we've shown you today, xiQ not only serves as the foundation for a successful B2B sales and marketing strategy, but it has tangible ROI from clients in 3 main indicators. And those are agility. We've found that on average, clients who use xiQ have completed the sales cycle 90% faster, so speed to market, a lower total cost of ownership, so it's one platform for sales, marketing, and in-depth analytics. And so by ridding yourself of some of the additional sales or MarTech in your stack, you're looking at 1/10 of the cost. And then effectiveness. This is incredibly important and a great way to measure ROI, because at the end of the day, as Jasmine indicated, are you closing the deal? Are you making the sale? And so we found that clients who use xiQ versus non-xiQ users have seen an 18% increase in their win rates. So again, tangible ROI from a closed loop sales and marketing system that really sets the foundation for a successful sales and marketing strategy in B2B. And so Zerwa, with that, I'll hand it back to you. I invite anyone to reach out and send me a chat or connect with me on LinkedIn or my email if you'd like to schedule a consultation. And Zerwa, I believe we had some questions come in through the webinar as well.
We do. Thank you, Lois, for such an informative discussion. I am sure our audience learned a lot from this session. Okay, everyone, the floor is now open for questions. You can use the chat box to post your queries. We do have a few that have come in during the presentation. The first one is, do you use xiQ yourself to generate leads and close deals?
That's a great question. And yes, I do. And I think that's not only a practice what you preach answer, but also I truly feel that you need a deep understanding of the product or anything that you're selling. And so by using xiQ daily, I'm now equipping myself with a deep understanding and knowledge of all the intricacies of the platform and can walk someone through it in the dark. And again, I can speak to the efficacy of it as well as the efficacy and effectiveness. So I can speak to the efficacy of it and then also say that it is incredibly efficient for me and my team. I can very quickly get everyone on the same page. And not only that, but I'm also the type of person who I honestly can't sell something if I don't believe in it. And I truly believe in xiQ. I truly believe it is the game changer for sales and marketing teams because, again, it bridges the gap between sales and marketing and lets you communicate with each other. by looking at the personality profile of an individual and understanding how they prefer communication, then using the AI engine to engage with them on a more meaningful way and looking at the analytics. Again, you've now just seamlessly handed off sales to marketing back to sales and really close the loop. So yes, I use it daily.
Perfect, thank you. So Malcolm is asking, can you talk about how xiQ gets rolled out to the sales team?
Oh, absolutely. And that's a great question. Thank you for bringing it up. And it is something that I didn't talk about in the webinar. But again, we want to make this as easy as possible for teams. So we're not only integrated, but when it comes to the onboarding process, if you tell me you need X amount of licenses, we could turn it on today and your team can start conducting research and outreach tomorrow. As we saw, the insights on an individual as well as a company are in real time, so it's constantly updating and providing you the news that you need. And not only that, but once you add the platform to your software, to your mobile device or computer, it'll then alert you anytime there's a merger acquisition or news for one of the companies you're tracking. So again, within a matter of minutes, with less than 24 hours, as soon as you are ready to turn xiQ on, it's there to go to work for you.
Thank you so much. And Haley Lucas is asking, does xiQ integrate into CRM and marketing automation systems?
Yes, we do. So again, focusing on efficiency as one of xiQ's goals, we want to turn your C sellers into A's. And so how can we make onboarding and use of the tool easy? And so when it comes to the sales perspective, we are integrated into Salesforce, Microsoft Teams, and Outlook. And then coming very soon, we will also be integrated into Microsoft Dynamics. And then from a marketing perspective, if you currently use Marketo, Eloqua, or HubSpot as your marketing automation, we connect and allow integration there. So you can compose the email using our AI engine, bring in third-party content, and then still send through those platforms if that's your preferred communication.
Okay, thank you so much. And we have another one. This gentleman, Benjamin, is asking, how does xiQ use AI to help with the sales lifecycle?
Thank you, Benjamin. That's a great question. I think we've touched base on it throughout the webinar, but to break it down in 3 just very bullet pointed ways, we use AI to generate those disc analysis and the personality insights. So again, our engine is scouring the internet for any publicly available information we can get on an individual as well as a company. And then we're serving that information to you in one unified platform. We use AI to generate content when it comes to emailing and getting that third-party collateral and material. And then we also use AI to look at the engagement analytics. So again, not only the overall send and success rate, but also breaking it down on a company and an individual level. What this person's reading, what's the top content, what are the keywords from that and the entities, and again, how we can use that to recycle and repeat and ultimately close that deal.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I believe that's all the time we have for questions today. We've received more and we'll try to address as many as we can over emails and phone calls. I'd like to thank you, Lois, for such an amazing discussion. We had a great time and it's really nice of you to give us your time. Thank you so much.
I'm happy. Like I said, I truly believe in the product. I use it every day. I'm a big fan. So anytime I can speak about the platform to an audience, I will be there.
Thank you. I'll be closing the session now. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the latest updates on B2B sales and marketing. Follow us on LinkedIn. You can also follow the link in the chat to download the xiQ app from App Store or the Play Store. And you will receive a recording of this session in your mailboxes within 48 hours. If you have any questions or you want to learn more, you can log onto the website xiqinc.com and schedule a free consultation with us. Thank you again for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much, Lois. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, everyone.